It's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Technique Thursday to share with you the silhouette technique. Alright, so here's my creation, and I'm going to improvise on it a little bit in the one I make with you now. But it's really showcasing some of our beautiful dies in DSP by using just basic black to create a silhouette of some of our more intricate dies, and then offsetting it on one of our beautiful papers. So the die I'm using is from the Meadow dies here. It was this tall one. There's a wide variety of beautiful dies that would work great with this technique. But there are an abundance of other dies. Stampin' Up! Has really gotten into these types of dies, and I am so loving it. So let's see here. What I've got for you, I've got a Highland Heather base, a matte, a Highland Heather base that is a top open card. I've got a basic black matte at 5 1/4 by 4, and then a basic white matte at 5 by 3 3/4. Then I have a circle cut out of our beautiful Simply Marvelous paper, which is a sale-a-bration paper that you can get free right now. Comes in 6 different colors, and on one side we've got a marble type texture, and then on the other side it's more of like a silky texture. So simply beautiful. I love it for this technique because it's a very like subtle texture to the background, but is still beautiful to offset that silhouette. And speaking of the silhouette, I have the silhouette here in basic black. So I already did my die cutting. And then to finish off the card, I stamped the sentiment just for you, which is from the Ranunculus Romance, and then used some of our ribbon and embellishments on the back. But I still felt like it was just a little shy on hitting the mark. So I think what I'm going to try on this next one is to splatter the background with a little bit of Stella and basic black. The other thing I thought to do was to use our blending brushes to put maybe a light coat of Highland Heather in the background. But I'm going to try the basic black. So before I get to assembling some layers, I'm going to pull out some scrap paper, which ironically is already splattered from one of the last technique cards I made. I was using some green to make a bumblebee card. I love splattering. It is one of my favorite techniques to do, but it does make quite a mess. So then I'm going to bring in my Memento. Grab just a little ink on my block. The Mementos, or I should say the black is the hardest to do this with because it's on a, it's not a foam pad, it's more of a felt pad. No, what's the word I'm trying to come up with? More of like a stitched pad. So it's not as easy to get that ink carried over, but works nonetheless. So I'm just going to pick up some of that black ink with our Stella pen. I always say when doing this technique, you definitely have to ride the waves. You cannot really control where the splatters are going. So it's never going to look the same, and it might not look as perfectly spaced or placed as you would like it to be. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't want to put too much more on it. I would maybe fill this corner, but I'm afraid I won't get it exactly where I want it, just as I was saying. So, and I guess while I still have these things out, I'll stamp the sentiment in the bottom. I love the script on this stamp. It is just so beautiful, and as a graphic designer, I really appreciate the font pairing that they have here, so kudos to Stampin' Up! Okay, so just like the last one, it's a little crooked. That's just how I roll sometimes. Okay, so that takes care of that. I'll put that behind me. There's really not too much to know or learn about this technique per se. Other than it's basically just a little bit of a like, hey, why don't you try this type of thing. So, okay, so we're gonna start assembling first. So we've got our, where's my liquid glue? Basic black mat that we will glue on. And then our basic white. Okay. If you're following along with me, make sure you glue this on so that your card's opening the right way. I've done that a time or two. I think we all have. Okay, and then roughly lay out where you want to put your circle and your silhouette. Now, I'm going to bring this down a little. That'll kind of help you guide where your glue is going to go for the back of your silhouette. Let's see here, it goes up to here, a little on there. Okay. Once I have this stuck together, then I put dimensionals on the back of this. So I'm going to put one black mini dimensional on the thickest part of the silhouette. Could probably cut one in half as well, or use a piece of the edge. To get some support farther down. Oopsies. These are definitely, let's see here. I want to put one here. Ah, I have splatter on my hands. That's funny. And then we'll put a piece down here as well. So just a little extra support to hold up. I mean, it's not a super heavy piece by any means, but it still will help support that piece. Okay, then I grabbed some of this ribbon. I was actually looking for, let's see if I can find my catalog here. I am obsessed, so obsessed with the white ribbon, the white frayed ribbon. And I think that would have looked gorgeous over there, but I couldn't find it. So I'm improvising. I still like this. I just was probably gonna do that and then the gold butterflies. Couldn't find it, so didn't use it. I think it would have been a little less, you know, this kind of has that rainbow iridescent feel to it, which is beautiful. Not quite exactly the feel I was going for with this card, but we roll with it. Okay, so I took and cut 2 pieces about 4.5 inches long of my ribbon and then adhered it with some tear and tape. Oh, haha, getting ahead of myself. Once I have the dimensionals on the black part, I'm putting dimensionals on the back of the circle as well. Very important part. Oops. Okay. So, going to put down our ribbon. So just kind of putting it roughly halfway down the ribbon, but acknowledging that we want the tear and tape to be covered by our silhouettes. All right, definitely keeping them off to the left side of the card here. putting them roughly thereabouts. Peeling off our dimensional backs. Oh, I love it. I really like what the black splatter adds to the card. I think that was exactly what this card is missing. Then I need my embellishments that are lost on my messy, messy desk. All right, maybe I don't have them. So essentially, my card is finished, minus the embellishments that I will find after the fact. But here's my silhouette technique. What do you think? Something that is super easy and still remarkably beautiful. That is definitely my go-to. I like to sometimes not have to think or try too hard, but still have a beautiful output. So I hope you have a wonderful Technique Thursday. Oh, look, you can barely even, that is so funny. You can not, I mean, you can see the speckling, but when it was down here so far, it was not all that noticeable. So it's funny when you see the card in person, it definitely is very noticeable, and it very much helps finish off, and you know, it's the icing on the cake to the card. But it's funny that it's not really all that in your face. So I hope you have a wonderful Technique Thursday. The weekend is in sight. I'm ready for a nice relaxing weekend, hopefully. Last weekend was my son's birthday, so that was not a relaxing weekend, but that's okay. So he's 4 now. He had a wonderful birthday. He is just the sweetest little boy. So happy birthday, Zachy. I love you. But I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, and catch Chris later tonight for some live card making.